morning, Chicago. I say good evening. Just playing with you. You know, I got a lot to tell you today. And in Revelations, all things will be revealed. And also, the old saying, what you put in the wash comes out in the rinse. Let's start with a quote. The distance between who I am and who I want to be is separated only by my actions and words. Unknown author, I'll repeat that. Quote, the distance between who I am and who I want to be is separated only by my actions and words. That's the reason why when you tell a child something and you don't keep your word, you're a hypocrite. Because what you say out of your mouth must be exhibited in your behavior. Now, the book of the week, The Disappearance of Childhood by Neil Postman. The Disappearance of Childhood by Neil Postman. 4 problems. TV dulls the senses, causes physical damages, promotes commercialism, causes information loss, doesn't require intellect. Doesn't require intellect. By the time your child is 19 years or 18 years old, they've watched at least 90 hours of television time. Can you believe that? So in other words, your child is being raised by TV. Sponge hit Bob in the game. That's a shame. But you know, it's our responsibility to be a consultant to our children. In other words, we guide them and then let them fly away. But at this point, our children are not being guided. Hell, they're not even being taken care of. You know, it's about 20,000 students that are homeless. I got a solution for that. We should work with CPS in terms of getting a shelter that would provide the necessary ingredients to produce the citizens that we want to have. But as I look at it, every time you come up with a tremendous idea, it's knocked down by the powers that be. And that's a shame, because they also say that, oh, the children are our number one focus. You know what? Stop. Stop. But we can't always put that on the powers that be either. We're talking about parenting also. A mother comes up to school with a rag on her head, smelling like reefer, talking about her child didn't do it. Shame on you. And you know what? You should be called out for that. But we have a thing, you know, it's a euphemistic way we deal with things. Dealing with a disagreeable subject in a mild way. You need to cut that, stop. Just like you need to have the death penalty come reinstated here. Just think about it. This guy kills your whole family, but yet we're going to take care of him. Feed him, clothe him, and by the way, and if he gets sick, it is the state's responsibility to address that issue. Do you know that an inmate that has a heart problem, as opposed to a citizen who has a heart problem, will get first privy to having medical treatment because he's a ward of the state and can be sued? Now, isn't that ironic? Now, I want to show you something. Oh, you know DOJ, Department of Justice, came out with their report. They did a eval. Police breakdown, personnel, 49% Caucasian, 37% African-American. African-American, Afro-American, let's see, boot chucker, spear chucker. Look at the labels that people of color have accepted. You're a human being, first and foremost. Deal with that first. Then the labels, that's a shame. Oh yes, and 10% Hispanic, 4% other, Chinese, Japanese. This is police personnel. Now, the DOJ, in part of its evaluations, talks about constitutional rights violated on a consistent basis. You mean to tell me that these police out here don't even know the Constitution, First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment, and especially the Fourth Amendment, illegal search and seizure, and what's probable cause? But see, also, the public, your children, as well as you, should know this. Really. Also, patterns of behavior. were looked at, observed very closely. It's a shame. That 49% is running everything in terms of personnel. FOP. I don't know where they came from and who they represent. It shows not us. Now, here's some astonishing news to you. First of all, please look at this. You see this? It says, citizens to abolish red light cameras meeting scheduled for 12717 at WVON, 1000 East 87th Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60619. Look at that very carefully. You've given these red light tickets and all that, and look, I went to the pound for mine. Seems like they have every car in Chicago there. But hey, that's astonishing. But let me just tell you this. This is in regarding the red light camera. Lawsuit contends that, and this is a class action lawsuit being filed against this red light. Lawsuit contends that the mayor's administration broke state law. I repeat, broke state law when it shortened the time that ticket holders had to contact the violation or pay their fines. I'm going to repeat that to you. Now, hopefully you're absorbing this information because it's for you. But what I have a tendency to see, it doesn't matter, does it? That's the reason why people in certain communities don't get the necessary service that they need. Because you know why? They never ask and they never stand up for what they believe in. And as a result, it's just like dealing with a child. Your child asks you for something, you say no, he goes to the mama and gets it. It's called manipulation. And so as long as you don't say anything, they're manipulating everything. Now here, lawsuit contends that the mayor's administration broke state law when it shortened the time that ticket holders had to contest the violation or pay their fines. Judge Kathleen Kennedy approved the proposed class action lawsuit. As many as 1.5 million motorists could have a stake in the outcome. 1.5 million motorists out of this town. With that guy, excuse me, on the 5th floor. This development came as no surprise to city lawyers. They even knew this was coming down the pipe. Who staved off the claims Emmanuel, the Tribune wrote a piece on this. They call it the sleight of hand trick. When Emmanuel realized that they were onto him because they give you a ticket and then the next thing you know, you got fined and also penalized. So he changed the ordinance. And look here. Here he goes. Tribune article in September 2016 reported that Emmanuel passed an ordinance through the spineless city council that gives those ticket holders affected by the errors a second chance to challenge their tickets retroactively years after paying fines and late fees. November 28, 2016, this is when this came out. Do you understand that now this goes beyond just a simple mistake? This goes to a cover-up. And do you know that the city council, those aldermen that we elected, that we pay $117,000 to, plus expense account, went along with this in our neighborhoods? Judas Goats, just like Barnett with Cabrini Green. When all those residents were pushed out, come to find out there was a developer, a Jewish developer, making money when they leveled Cabrini Green. And Barnett was the one who was talking about, oh, it's okay, and now one of those people came back to where they really live. It's a shame. It's a shame. You know what? And you, as a taxpayer, let this go on, then what do you expect should happen to you when the law of motion comes to your door and you feel as though you've been misused? Huh? Now, here it is right here. Also, check this out. CEO, Red Flex Traffic Systems Incorporated, set to be sentenced. That's the CEO. She's going to jail. Miss Kennedy, I do believe her name is. Let's see, here it goes. Okay. And this is, okay, also CEO of Red Flex Traffic Systems Incorporated, set to be sentenced 10 years for bribery, cameras at its peak responsible. They're responsible for $600 million in fines. $600 million in fines. Now the question is, where's the money? Now anybody that's listening to this, please call in. See, because this is the reason. Call. You want to add a question or comment? Call it. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. How you doing? How you doing this week? I see that you're fired up again.
Yes, yes.
What gets me
Huh?
talking about the mom that goes to school and denies everything, right?
Yeah.
The kid comes home smelling like reefer.
Yeah.
You can smell that a mile away, and still denies it. You know, that's what's wrong with people today. Not everybody, but that's what. Or they don't smoke at home. That's even worse. But the thing is, listen, it's our fault.
Yes. It is our fault.
And I'm going to tell you why.
Go ahead.
Because in the last 6 months, there's been 2 big construction companies, sites, not one black, not one Hispanic, what do you call it, owned labor force, you know, for the construction.
Yes.
Not one is Hispanic, and one is not African American. And you know what gets even worse? Us.
Yes.
You and I.
Pathetic attitude.
And all the rest of the people here in this is a great city.
Yes, it is. It's just, it's just some of the inhabitants make it,
But yet we still go, and you see my TV every day. You still go and vote for the same person. So half of it's on us, but the other half is surely on our politicians. And that's all I'm going to say, and have a great day.
Thank you very much, Ray. You know, young people, it's a shame when we elect officials to represent us, the constituency, and then they turn around and they're all out for themselves. You got aldermen going to jail for what? Taking bribes. You got this administration. See, I don't, you talk about transparency. Also, after, the Department of Justice came out with their evaluation, this guy gets on TV talking about, we got things in place. You have nothing in place. And if you talk about a mentoring program, that won't even start till, what, April? So why would you say that? And then, who do you have in charge of it? Oh, I know, you're going to run to the churches, right? Do they deal with outreach? Have you contacted any professionals that deal with mentoring, that know what they're doing? It's enough of this, elected school board, not appointed. But the problem is that Ray also indicated, it's you, the public, that, are being misused and abused. You have representation in each ward. I bet you can't even reach one of your aldermen, let alone go and see them. Think about what I'm saying. When does it end? And by the way, your children are watching you. So if you have an apathetic attitude where you don't care, and it translates to them. I would check the school system out too. You send your child there, and by the way, when the teacher asks you for a parent conference, why don't you show up? Why don't you do what you're supposed to do? Or do you just feel as though CPS is your babysitter? Huh? Well, honey, you had the baby. Take care of the baby. Because their irresponsibility becomes our responsibility. Taxpayers, instructors, people who are trying to affect change, but at so many angles, it's really disheartening. An instructor gets it from the parent, then it gets it from the administration. So it's just like the police. arrested down because they're afraid that, if they get into a confrontation, somebody's going to jail, and it might be them. We already see they haven't been trained, and already you have a training academy that can't train the potential policeman. I mean, where's the money going? That's another thing. Over $600 million in traffic fines. Where's that money going? And this man knows, as well as their lawyers, that this is going to be overturned. He's violated state law. And still running around like nothing's happening. Let me say something. Was it Albert Einstein said that the thing that caused the problem will not be the thing that solves the problem. And we always look at my man on TV talking about he makes the critical decisions. Okay, here we go. How about the buildings, the school buildings that you closed down? What's going to happen with that money that's wasted? Now you're talking about building a complex to incorporate 3 schools. So what's going to happen to the schools that the children leave? And also, what about these organizations that, we talk about safe passage. So when you combine all these kids with different gang ties, how's that going to work? Oh, I forgot. You talk about this new building, this new project you got going. Well, the outcome of that is only 400 jobs. And if that's true, then we have to also look at labor, the union, because the union is not going to let anybody work without being in the union, which means that knocks out the outside people. So it's all enclosed in terms of I'm going to hire who I want. See, we still in that, the Shackman Act, hiring our good old friends and everything, and, disregarding the young people who live in the neighborhood. We're in dire straits. And, information and education is key. I just don't know. Let me give you this thing again. Hopefully, you will. Here it is. www.citizens-to-abolish-red-light-cameras.com. Okay, it's going to be a meeting, Citizens to Abolish Red Light Cameras meeting scheduled for 12717 at WVON, 1000 East 87th Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60619. Now, I can't do everything for you. Find the number and call them. Can you do that? Can you do that? Now, let's move on. No wonder our children, how can we put it, the 3 B's. Baffled, befuddled, and bewildered. That's where they're at. Because when they look at their parents, and their parents in upheaval because things are not going right for them, and it seems as though everything is financial. We've lost about 10,000 families per year leaving Illinois. And look at Chicago. You get taxed for water, you get taxed for garbage, and also with that garbage situation, you have city garbage men, so why would you hire waste management unless a deal was made? So that means you're paying for 2 different organizations doing the same thing. That's kind of like repetitious, isn't it? But you have to understand something. This is about money and power and control. Power and control. You have the South Side, Roseland. Look at it. It's desolate. Check this out. Roosevelt Road. It used to be. But now, the University at Illinois runs that. And look how it's changed. A heck of a transformation. Huh? Then we go to 35th Street. From 22nd Street to about 45th Street used to be nothing but projects. And that's what it was, a project that went wrong at your expense. Now, who runs that? No more projects. You got Starbucks coffee down there. You got gourmet shops. Look here. Condos. Huh? Now, Let's go to the University of Chicago. Look what's happening there. Condos, they tore out the jacks, and now, who lives there? So that goes, I'm getting ready to talk about displacement. So when you move people out of one area and don't let them come back, they have to go elsewhere. And when they do that, that poses a problem. To the people already living in a certain neighborhood, here comes another influx of folks with different morals, different values, different everything. Now we're talking about, in some areas, send in, crack house, what else? Flop house. What is that? That's what some people are used to dealing with. And some people are not used to that type of situation. So the government places you and also bankrolls you to live elsewhere, causing a lot of dissension and animosity. But young people, you need to understand something. That's by design. That's a 25-year plan. I just laid out to you communities that have changed. You say for the better or for the worse. But you know, our problem is this. We talk about things that are irrelevant and immaterial. We don't really talk about the things that, you know, that are really dealing with us and our children. When are we going to stop, you know, looking for a handout and do what we have to do? Raise your children correctly, and that's our future. But also protest when you see wrong is going on. Now, do I have to really tell you that, or do you really care? Hopefully somebody's looking here and can comprehend where I'm trying to go with this. Trying where I am. Look at it. This is me. If you got anything you want to talk about, just email me. Email me. Listen, I'm for you. I'm for this whole city. Even though it is segregated. That needs to stop too. But that's impossible almost. But with this new president, there will be a coalition. Do you know what a coalition is? That's a group of individuals who might have different philosophies, but on one subject they come together. That's your boy Trump. And maybe, just maybe, he might, you know, by everyone supposed to be afraid and everything, it might just bring people together to do something about it. I know one thing he's done. He stopped 700 jobs from going to Mexico. Yeah. People, I hope you take some of this information and utilize it and know your rights when you're driving and keep your hands on the steering wheel so you won't be another statistic. And that's another thing. We paid out, I don't know, damn near $1 billion on police misuse of power because they haven't been trained properly or because they don't really give a care. Either way, we got a problem. But it's going to be resolved like all things do. The law of motion, what goes around comes around to your door. In the meantime, if you feel as though you run out of rope, tie a knot and hang on. Everything's going to be okay. Thank you for your time.